Let's go over some Spurs news and notes and then ask the question of 3 potentially NBA guards the Spurs could draft. Which one should they take?
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, welcome back to Locked On Spurs on Locked On NBA Network. I'm your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs beat writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Happy to have y'all back. Thanks for subscribing to Locked On Spurs, wherever you get your favorite podcast, iTunes, Spotify, Google Play. What else you got? Ken's 5 Plus app? Yep, YouTube. So many platforms. Subscribe to Locked On Spurs right now. Hey, today's episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. You got to get PrizePicks ASAP, everybody. The easiest, most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNBA. Use code all lowercase LockedOnNBA for a first deposit match up to $100. What are we talking about today? You see it on your screen. We're going to be over some Spurs news and notes. And then bring in our guest, Rudy Campos, and Swoop the League. We're going to be discussing of the 3 potentially point guards the Spurs could draft in this upcoming NBA draft. Which one should they take? You'll see the candidates in just a few minutes, and then go over some Locked On Spurs fan comments. But first, some Spurs news you may have missed. And Spurs Mamu, yes, Big Mamu. He spoke with Euro Hoops recently, and he had a lot of praise for Victor Wembanyama. Same stuff you already heard, no surprise. But when asked about his time in San Antonio and how he could potentially not be there next season, he pretty much said, he would like to stay there. He says, quote, "I'm very happy to be there. I'm honored for sure to be around teammates and learn from them. We'll see what happens." He's talking about free agency. But I'm really excited to be part of young guys who are in the NBA. So if y'all remember, Mamu was originally signed with the Spurs back in March 2023. They re-signed him again for a 1-year deal. It's over. So he made the Spurs, kind of think about his future in San Antonio, the way he ended the season. He had career highs overall for last season: 4.1 points per game, 3.2 rebounds, 1.1 assists, shot 47% from the field. But it's the way he closed out the season. Started 5 games, averaged 11.6 points per game, 9.6 rebounds, 2.1 assists, shot 38% from the 3 line. He also got a rousing thumbs up from Victor Wembanyama when it was talked about meshing with Mamu. And then Popovich even said, hey, he's done a good job. Quote, "He deserves a very serious discussion." So we'll see. Well, at least the feeling is mutual. It's not like he leaves San Antonio. So hopefully the Spurs can figure out a way to keep him. But if not, he'll likely be a great NBA player wherever he goes. In other Spurs news, I think y'all saw this. Victor Wembanyama was spotted at a local grocery chain called H-E-B, for those of you who don't live in San Antonio. And he was caught shopping. But lo and behold, it was for a commercial featuring himself in H-E-B. And it'll be debuting sometime in the future. But man, it set off a firestorm. Fans were tweeting about it, social media and about it, everything. Fans loving it, saying he's one of us. So again, as fans, it was still fun for fans to see him still in San Antonio. At least this guy's Bernie, Texas, which is a city outside of San Antonio for those who don't live here. But he has the Olympics coming up soon. So there'll be sort of some games to watch with Wemby soon. We'll see how he does with Team France. In other Spurs news, to close out last week, we had a Locked On Spurs draft spotlight on Donovan Klingan. If you missed it, it is available right now. Just go to the Locked On Spurs YouTube page. Go check it out. Donovan, that is, theoretically follow the Spurs at 4. Should the Spurs take him? We're going to be discussing that. And also, in other Spurs news, and which is going to be the bulk of the next conversation, is that odds makers are giving the Spurs, let me rephrase that, are giving 3 guards even odds at plus 300 that they'll be a member of the Spurs next season via the NBA draft. That's Topic, Castle, and Dillingham. So yeah, which of the 3 should the Spurs take? You know what? We're going to discuss that coming up next. Yeah, coming up next, we got Rudy Campos. We're going to be discussing those 3 guards and which one should the Spurs select with their number 4 or number 8 pick. That's next right here on Locked On Spurs. First, I want to talk about LinkedIn Talent Solutions. When you're hiring for a small business, you want to find quality professionals that are right for the role. That's why you got to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has all the tools we need to help find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. LinkedIn is not just another job board. LinkedIn has a vast network of more than 1 billion professionals, which makes it the best place to hire. It gives you access to professionals you can't find anywhere else. LinkedIn does all of that while making the process easy and intuitive. Hiring is easy when you have that many quality candidates. So easy, in fact, that 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. LinkedIn knows that you're wearing so many hats. Some of those small businesses maybe not have the time or the resources or wearing many hats. So LinkedIn is constantly looking for ways to make the process easier. They just launched a new feature that helps you write job descriptions and making the process easier and quicker. 2.5 million small businesses cannot be wrong, and they use LinkedIn for hiring. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNBA. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnNBA. Post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
A Jedi uses the Force. To subscribe to Locked On Spurs, pass on what you have learned.
And we're back right here on Locked On Spurs with Rudy Campos of Sweep the League. Follow him on X at Sweep the League. Check out his show. Be broadcasted later today, this Monday, I believe, right? Rudy, you got Sweep coming up later on tonight?
Oh, yeah. Sweep tries to come to you Monday through Friday, normally in the evenings, about 9 o'clock, but sometimes we do an afternoon or early evening show. But yeah, definitely we got Sweep the League tonight.
All right, cool. Well, I'm pretty sure you're going to have a reaction to the article I released earlier this morning. We're reacting to it now. We're getting closer to the NBA draft. The Spurs, as of now, they're sitting at number 4 and 8, but we're going to be focusing on the number 4 spot. Yes, they could flip it. They could trade up, trade down. Point is, we don't know yet. So we're going to go with what they got, number 4 pick. And you're already starting to see Vegas odds makers discussing who's going to go number 1, number 2, number 3. We don't care about that, as of now. But right now, they're putting out who they project could go number 4. And I got the odds here. We're going to talk about it. I'm pretty sure you're going to be talking about it tonight on your show. But wow. So there's good news and bad news, everybody. And Rudy knows this already. So the good news is Vegas projects the Spurs are going to address a need, and the need at guard. Mm-hmm. The bad news is one of those guys is busted up, and I don't know if you want to take him at number 4. So let's dive into it. According to odds makers Bet Online, they're projecting out who can go number 4, and they think the Spurs are going to go guard, and it's a 3-way tie. Rudy, are you ready? Are you ready?
I'm ready.
To put on that GM hat, because you're going to be breaking the tie right now among these 3 guys, all at plus 300 odds to be the next Spur. Stephon Castle, Rob Dillingham, and Nikola Topic. The Vegas projects he's still a top 5 pick despite the busted knee. Plain and simple, Rudy, of those 3 guards, who would you take to break the tie?
So for me to break the tie, I'm going to stick to my guns. As much as I love Nikola Topic, the injury does concern me, and I think it does affect his draft status some. But remember, you and I always say, don't bet against Vegas, right? They know something that we don't. But ultimately, for me, it's still Stephon Castle. He's my number 1 guy when it comes to the San Antonio Spurs big board. You're talking a 6'5" guard, 210 pounds, 6'9" wingspan. He's only 19 years old, Jeff. He shot 26.7% from 3-point range, averaged about 11 points a game, 2 assists, about 4 rebounds a game. So with Stephon Castle, he's checking off a lot of stuff with the exception of 3-point shooting. I'm not so concerned about his 3-point shooting, only because at the NBA level, you're going to get a lot more trainers, a lot more coaches working with you. He's going to be able to improve that jump shot, especially from 3-point range. What I love about him is, he's a tone-setting type of defender. He's a really good defender, really good on-ball defender, really good finisher at the rim, can get to the basket, can get contact, can still make a play even while absorbing contact. He makes simple plays. He makes the right pass. That's a lot of things that I love about Stephon Castle. He's definitely one of the better prospects in this draft.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here. I still say, despite that knee injury, I would not be totally surprised if the Spurs take Topic at number 4. Again, Topic is tied with the 3-way tie with Dillingham and Castle at plus 300 odds. We got him right here. I can see the lure of drafting him, even though we know he's a little bit damaged right now. Just 18 years old, so his body will probably heal faster. Perhaps, dare I say, a bigger ceiling? Do we think Topic has a bigger ceiling, a higher ceiling, I should say, than Castle and Dillingham? Plays the Euro style, and Wemby's been advocating for that Euro style. He glowed about it at the end of the season, saying Mamu and him, they understand each other because we came from the Euro system. Popovich loves the Euro style. He does. He does. And you're seeing the wave of European players take over. We got Doncic in the NBA Finals, Joker's Joker, Giannis, et cetera, et cetera. We know Wemby now. I would not be surprised if the Spurs take Topic despite the knee thing, simply because if it fits Wemby's style and he prefers the Euro style, then there you have it. What do you think about that?
So I guess what I want to kind of clarify as well is if we're talking about who the Spurs are probably going to take, it's probably Stephon Castle. Who's the better prospect of the three guys that are being talked about? Nikola Topic is number one on that list. I mean, you're 6'6" guard out of Serbia. If you want an NBA ready type player now at that age, Nikola Topic is your guy. The knee concern is definitely it's going to be on the mind of a lot of GMs, and Brian Wright is one of them. But you're talking about a kid that has a very quick decision maker, and he makes the right plays on the offensive side of the ball, can get to the basket. He's working on his jump shot. He has a stiff jump shot right now, but again, at the NBA level, he'll have a lot of time to work on the jump shot as at the NBA level. But the one thing about him is that I love his playmaking ability. That's something that the San Antonio Spurs need, and you wouldn't even have to really rearrange a whole lot of players. I mean, essentially, he would probably end up taking over for Trey Jones. You still have Devin on the wing. It would make life a lot easier for Jeremy Sohan. And Spurs, of course, with Victor Wembanyama in those pick and roll type, plays, it's going to be beneficial. So if we're talking prospect wise, who has the higher ceiling, Nikola Topic is that guy. He's number one on that list, but the concerns are huge for his injury. He's very injury prone. What makes sense is probably Stephon Castle, but if Spurs fans are willing to wait and the team is willing to kind of go on that path to where they're going to give Topic time to recover, then Nikola Topic's got to be up there. I'm right there with you.
Yeah. He admitted that he is not 100%. I was on the call with him where he revealed that. And he also said he also revealed that he's just working on his body right now, leading up to the draft. So, he did participate in the combine. I think it was limited, but I can see why the Spurs would get him. Now, Stephon Castle, you immediately jump to him, but we're ignoring Rob Dillingham. He was pretty high in so many draft boards early when the mock draft started coming out. He's kind of slid down. Despite that, Vegas thinks he could be one of the three guards the Spurs go after. He's advocating to go to the Spurs openly. He according to Bleacher Report, he's flat out said, "I want to go to San Antonio. I play with Wemby. I know who to do. Give Wemby the ball." He's saying the right things. But why do you think his stock has been sliding of late?
So a lot of it, in my opinion, for Rob Dillingham, the size is a factor. 6'1", 175. I mean, he's got to obviously bulk up some there. But what a lot of, I believe, scouts are seeing, and again, I kind of look at video as well with a lot of the other guys that I work with. He's very, very erratic on the defensive side of the ball, which is going to be very problematic in the NBA when you've got point guards galore in the NBA, and that's going to be a position where you've got to be able to defend. As you can tell with the Boston Celtics having both Derek White and Drew Holiday, you've got to be able to play both sides of the ball. So Rob Dillingham's defense is very, very skeptical. So that's one thing that I look at, but also his playmaking, his accuracy of passing. It's got to be improved. And I understand you got to get Wemby the ball, but you have to be able to get Wemby the ball. So I think with Rob, he's got a lot of things he's got to work on, got to improve, which again, a lot of this draft is based off of prospects and potential. So if you feel Rob is great at 4 and that is your guy, you go and take him. But of the three guys, for me, Dillingham is third. I mean, he's a great scorer. The guy can shoot the ball. Shot 44% from three-point range, can get to the basket, comes off screens really well, can knock down that open jumper. So scoring-wise, Dillingham checks the box off. But when it comes to everything else, when it involves a point guard position, that's kind of where you kind of give it the incomplete that we normally see on report cards from back in the days for you and I.
Yeah. Now, if you're curious, the fourth projected guard to go to the Spurs. By the way, if we look at all the projection from the Vegas odds makers here, it's heavy guard. So they're projecting 4 guards could possibly go to San Antonio, 3 with a 3-way tie, Topic, Dillingham, and Castle. But if you're curious, the fourth player they project to go to San Antonio is another guard, Reed Shepherd. Do you think that could be a miss if he's on the board and the Spurs pass up on him?
At number 4, no. I mean, right now, Reed Shepherd is probably number 5 on my list of guards to look at. Reed's a shooter, man. He definitely is a shooter. Extra shooter. He's got a quick
which
release.
The Spurs need. They need that. They need a gunner.
Yeah, the Spurs do need a shooter, but at 6'1", you're going to have him actually run the point guard position as well, and that's something that I wouldn't feel comfortable Reed Shepherd doing. So, I mean, if you have a point guard already in place and Reed Shepherd is going to be kind of like, then I'm not comparing him, but kind of using him as in a Steph Curry, Reggie Miller type player where he's coming off screens and he's able to get his jump shot off really well. Then it makes sense for Reed Shepherd, but they don't have that point guard outside of Trey Jones right now. It's not a really good position to draft him at 4. I mean, again, great playmaker when it comes to shooting, can definitely get to the basket as well. But I mean, there's so many other concerns with Reed Shepherd going at number 4. Now, number 8, if he's there at number 8, then that's a spot you would definitely want to take him in. But I think there's better options out there at number 4, whether it be one of the guards that they talk about that Vegas has or at another position. There's going to be a lot better prospects there at number 4.
Yeah, it's mentioned, Vegas definitely is projecting the Spurs will go guard. And there are a lot of guards on the top 6 picks that Vegas projects. The other 2 are bigs. They got Busalis and Klingan going at 4 if the Spurs, if they fall down to 4. But yeah, very heavy guards that Vegas projected. Now, I'm looking at the odds for those interested. Reed Shepherd, his odds are plus 450 to be the next Spur. But yeah, Topic, Castle, and Dillingham, Vegas thinks is going to go down those 3 leading up to the draft. Okay, so we kind of eliminated Dillingham. So now that leaves you with Topic and Castle. Okay, now you're Brian Wright. You're in the war room. You narrowed it down to those 2. Is it a tough pick for you? Do you think it's a win-win situation? How do you see that coming down? Do you think it will be a win-win? Like, okay, Castle, great. Topic, great. Or is it Topic? Maybe, I don't know. I'm scared,
Well, we know for a fact they're going to do their due diligence on Topic, and I think that is the absolute right thing to do. It's pulling hairs when it comes to Topic and Castle. Both guys, if both are healthy and if Topic is completely healed and healthy, ready to go for the NBA season, I'm good with either guy. Preferably, I have Topic because he's my personal favorite of the 2 guys. Pro ball, man. He's overseas. He's getting pro work every single day where Stephon Castle is coming in from the NCAA. But at the same time, I feel probably with my mind that it's going to go with Stephon Castle for the San Antonio Spurs. I mean, look at the history with Dan Hurley. I mean, he's got NCAA championship. He's played under a great coach, one who was supposedly interviewed for the Lakers job. So, I mean, Dan Hurley is one of the guys that you want to see players his camp come out from. So I really feel that you're not going to miss with either guy. The only thing is if you hear Nikola Topic being announced at number 4 for the Spurs fans really do have to not panic. Don't, go in a craze.
I think you probably will panic, right? I think you might.
I will.
Okay.
I definitely won't if they take Topic. I would definitely love the pick. Just the concerns, but also you have to understand too, is like everybody else does, they're doing their due diligence. If they feel that the knee injury isn't that serious, then you go with the better prospect. Overall, the better prospect is Topic, and he is more NBA ready than I feel Castle is.
Yeah, Topic did tell me personally that the Spurs doctors have spoken to him. At least at that time, he did not work out or meet with the Spurs and for X's and O's evaluations as far as on the court. But he did tell me that doctors did speak with him. So that goes to your point. The Spurs are doing their due diligence with him. With Castle, though, do you think the reaction will be, oh, no, you got Castle, but you passed up on Topic? I think I can see a segment of Spurs fans pulling that stunt.
Yeah, no. I mean, if they were able to get Castle, let's be honest, you're going to have half that are in love with Castle, half that are not in
Yeah.
love with Castle. The guys that are not in love with Castle are screaming, why didn't you take Dillingham? Why did you take, Reed Shepherd? You're going to say, well, I mean, if Mataz
Yeah.
Bazulas is there, why did you take him? I mean, no one's ever going to be satisfied when it comes to who's drafted by the Spurs. Everybody is going to
Yeah.
have an opinion on it. But the Castle part, if he's taken at 4, there's no issues at that. Again, these guys all fill a major position that needs filled for the San Antonio Spurs. So Stephon Castle brings a great defensive side mentality of the ball. Like I said, of the 3, he's a really good fit right now. He's not the better prospect. I think Topic is the better prospect of the 3, but Castle can come in and he can lead the team and make life a little bit easier for the San Antonio Spurs.
Man, can you imagine if Chip England was still in on the roster, still on that coaching bench, and you bring in Topic, and imagine the wonders he could do with him. You know, because that's the big knock. Topic is not consistent from the outside. He's a great rim attacker. He's a great penetrator in the paint. Very good facilitator. Runs downhill, does all that stuff. But man, that outside shot needs to work. But
yeah, he's very stiff, Topic. If you look at the video, his jump shot is there. I'm not gonna lie, it's there, but it's very, very stiff. If he played a little bit looser, you'd see a different side of Nikola Topic. But Chip with Castle, I mean, that is a deadly combination because, like I've said before, it's a poor man Shai Gilgeous-Alexander right there. If he can start getting his shot up and make it more consistent.
Man, what a comp. Rudy, you're going to get Spurs fans all riled up with that comp. Castle and SGA.
It's on the video, man. It's all in the videos. They just got to watch the videos and watch them closely. I mean, I'll let something in here. Reed Shepherd scares the crap out of me because if you really pay attention to his video and do the real scouting on it, and I've talked to a couple of coaches who, are really big in in basketball. We've all noticed, and I asked him, do you notice a hitch in his jump shot? And they all say, yes, there's a hitch in it. So it's something that can be fixed, but if it's not NBA, NBA defenders, man, the guys at the NBA level are quick to find stuff. And that's something that I feel needs to be worked on. That's what scares me about Reed Shepherd. So,
yeah, well, we'd like to hear from you. What do you think? How would you break the Vegas tie? They have Topic, Castle, and Dillingham plus 300 odds, each of them, to go to San Antonio. That's what Vegas is projecting. Who would you pick? You can let Rudy know by following him on X at Sweep the League. Let me know by leaving a comment over at the Locked On Spurs YouTube page. Tell us how you would break that tie. What player would you pick to break that 3-way tie? So, hey, I guess the silver lining, Rudy, is at least Vegas is thinking Spurs will go guard. So, yay, that is the biggest need.
Until they trade it away, right?
Until they trade it away, right? Exactly. All right, when we get back, we're going to be discussing, speaking of the Locked On Spurs YouTube page, you guys are leaving some comments. We're going to read a couple. That's next right here on Locked.
What up, Doc? This is Bugs Bunny, and you are listening to my best friend, Jeff Garcia, host of Locked On Spurs.
I want to talk about PrizePicks. PrizePicks is America's #1 fantasy sports app with more than 5 million members. The most fun, most exciting way to play and get in on the action to watch your favorite sports and players. You just pick more or less on 2 or more player stat, and so you can get a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. With PrizePicks, you can turn $10 into $1,000 in a single game watching your favorite sports this summer. You can make PrizePicks line up in as little as 60 seconds. You just need to pick more or less on 2 to 6 player projections, stat projections, that is, and you're locked in. And if you're into promotions, PrizePicks has you covered every week, from lowering select player stat projections on Tuesday with increasing your chance at getting a win to getting your entry fees back if you have a losing lineup on Fridays. Yeah, what more do you need? Get PrizePicks right now. Look, PrizePicks, it is so much fun to use. It's very user-friendly. I have it. You should get it too. Download the app today. Use code LOCKEDONNBA to get a first deposit match up to $100. Again, use code LOCKEDONNBA. Get that first deposit match up to $100. PrizePicks. Pick more, pick less. It is that easy. And we're back on Locked On Spurs, joined by Rudy Campos. Follow him on X at Sweep the League. Check out his show, Sweep the League. Show's coming out tonight on your YouTube page. I'm pretty sure you're going to be talking about Vegas, what they're saying about the 3-way tie, huh?
Yeah, me and Vegas have a love relationship
Yes, yes,
lately.
yes.
So
I actually think you work for Vegas because you always tend to get in line with what Vegas says.
I don't work for Vegas. I couldn't work there because I would go broke. I couldn't live there either. I'd go
I
broke too.
know.
So yeah, definitely not.
Yeah, I was in Vegas a couple years ago, and whew, I was like, "How much did I spend over
Yeah,
there?"
you
Yeah,
can blink and your whole entire bank account is gone. So
I know.
yeah.
And I usually go on the strip and I find those little cafeterias that have Subway, McDonald's, stuff like that. I'd rather go in there than okay, let me go into one of the hotels and eat there. No,
Mhm.
I try my best to curb my costs, but nope. Vegas will find a way to suck your money out of your wallet. All right.
Oh yeah.
You guys are talking about the Spurs. No shocker there. But on the Locked On Spurs YouTube page, heavy comments about the draft. There's too many. So I'm going to split it up. I'm going to do one about just the overall projection of the team and then an NBA draft comment. So the first one is from Kenny Rudy. He says, I don't think it will take long next year. Free agent market will be better. Now he's reacting to the Spurs, how long the rebuild will continue. So he agrees. He doesn't think the rebuild will take that much longer and that the free agent market will be better next year where the free agents will finally come to San Antonio. What do you think about that? Do you think free agents, big name free agents, will come to San Antonio now with Wemby there?
So the big time free agents are going to be attracted to Wemby. I mean, they saw exactly what happened his rookie season. They know that it's more than
Yeah.
likely going to just keep going up and up and up. So free agents are going to be coming. But as of right now, we saw what year one is. We want to still see what year two is. I point to the fact, and Danny Green hit it on the nail. And I think he listens to Locked On because I think I said it way before Danny did. But 2025, that's when you see a lot of these bigger free agents, and that's where I think now you've got 2 years of Victor. How are the Spurs doing? And that's when we're going to start to see more free agents, or big name free agents, probably start to consider San Antonio. But this offseason, I feel you're going to get a couple of veteran free agents and useful veteran free agents. A couple of names, a name to throw out there is like a Tobias Harris, who kind of just hasn't really been
Mm-hmm.
working out in Philadelphia, but he has ties to San Antonio. He used to work out at the Gervin Center in the summer a lot. So
Mm-hmm.
he's got ties to San Antonio. He's really good friends with the Gervin family. A guy like
Yeah, he
Tobias
is.
Harris could make sense for San Antonio this offseason. He's probably not going to command a whole lot of money. So you're going to see
Mm-mm.
some free agents come in, but the bigger name ones, it's going to take a little bit more of the Spurs to add to their current roster to start attracting the bigger ones outside of trading for them, but just outright
Yeah.
signing them in free agency. It's going to take just a little bit more work for the Spurs to add to the roster. Then you'll start to see the big ones start to really come over.
I really like to see Wemby being a advocate for the Spurs, recruiter for the
Mhm.
Spurs down the road. And maybe he didn't do it after year one. I could see him definitely doing it after year two. But I think his key is that the Spurs, not just just Wemby. I think that the Spurs got to get some W's. Wemby. I mean, look what they did with Wemby dropping those monster numbers in his rookie season. Still didn't amount to
Yeah.
wins. 22 wins. So I think you got to have Wemby's development, and you got to have the win totals spiking up. And look, I know there's no other place to go up, considering after a 22 win season. But nevertheless, I think you got to have a combination of Wemby dominating, combination of the Spurs, from the outside looking in, making moves to improve the roster for big name free agents. Say, you know what? Okay, fine. I see the direction they're going. They got Wemby, yay. He's getting better, yay. They're winning these key pieces, these nice complementary pieces. Tobias Harris. Now I am big name free agent, and I can come to San Antonio now. So I think that process will have to play out for a while. All right, that was a good comment. Let's go to the next one, Rudy. Next one's from Tom. I'm gonna try my best here. Fitterer. I think that's how you say it. Fitterer. Okay. He says, and he's reacting to Friday's episode of Locked On Spurs about Donovan Klingan. Although Vic Wembanyama is a gifted big shooter, I don't think he's efficient enough to draft Klingan and then bump Wemby to the 4 spot. Vic shined on both ends of the floor when he moved to the 5. All right, so basically what he's reacting to is, there is a shot that Klingan could be there at 4 for the Spurs to grab. Now, he is the big man from UConn. I mean, he's a mountain. He's big. He's a big dude. and he's 4-year pro, for college pro, that is, I should say, and he's coming in with an NBA ready body. He already outweighs Wemby by a mile. It's not even close. Okay. But the Spurs, so basically Tom in this comment, he's saying, okay, well, if the Spurs draft him, then maybe it's not a good thing because something's got to give. Klingan can't play the floor. Wemby shined at the 5. Well, Klingan wants to be at the 5. Do you think it'll be a bad pick if the Spurs go Donovan Klingan?
It wouldn't be a bad pick. It wouldn't be the favorite pick, I feel, for a lot of people, but it wouldn't be a bad pick. And Donovan Klingan, 7'1", 282 pounds, a 7'6" wingspan. And like you mentioned, he's 20. Yeah, he's a monster, 20 years old. So what benefits Klingan as a San Antonio Spur is this. You've seen Wemby play inside and out. You've seen that he's able to, get to the basket. What Klingan does is not only does it make Victor that much more man, I don't know how to say that. That makes Victor's skill set just that much better with Donovan Klingan, because now you don't necessarily need Victor in the paint the whole time. He doesn't have to play with his back to the basket a lot either. So that's a bonus for him on the offensive side. You can see a lot more pick and rolls. And with that being said, Donovan Klingan is a guy when around the basket likes to dunk everything. He's a great lob guy as well. So all the eyes are going to be focused on the point guard, whether it's Trey Jones or whoever, with a pick and roll, screen and roll with Victor Wembanyama. A lot of these eyes are focused on him, where Klingan's going to be open below the basket a whole lot. So the offense could be really well ran if Klingan is there with Wemby in the front court. But where I get the most giddy about is on the defensive end. Klingan is a superb shot blocker. So you've got a 7'4" guy, a 7'1" guy, both very, very good shot blockers. It's going to make it very tough for anyone in the paint to actually have any success. In today's game, the big man was not relevant for a while there, but we're seeing it become more relevant with Joel Embiid, with Jokic. You're seeing the big man become a lot more relevant. So I think where it hurts the most is his footing on the for defending on the perimeter. That's really, really one of his worst cases or worst characteristics when it comes to his skill set. But other than that, Klingan Wemby would be a really, really good pairing, just in my opinion. But again, it doesn't make sense because it's actually a position they need filled. It really is. But it's not one that can't be filled later on or through free agency.
Do you think? But don't you think it'll impact Wemby the most? Because Donovan's not going to play the 4. He won't. He's not suited there. Something's going to, unless Wemby goes. That's what Wemby always wanted. He always wanted to play the 4. And okay, Wemby, you're back to the 4 now. How do you figure that? That just seems like, it's a good problem to have your San Antonio, 2 quality big men, but this is Wemby's team, and what Wemby wants, Wemby gets. Where do you fall on that?
He goes to the 4, and this reminds me of times when you would pair Tim Duncan with Rasho Nesterovic. Rasho would clog the paint, clog the lane, make it tough for big guys, and Duncan would kind of help off on the defensive side. But you're able to allow Tim to work, and Rasho wasn't a perimeter guy. That's the thing that we got to keep in mind. Which Klingan isn't a perimeter guy either. The good thing is there's still one guy there from that era to this era, and that's Greg Popovich. He would know how to make this work, this twin tower per se work. So I think Wemby at the 4 would be really, really good because, like I said, you can also do Klingan in the pick and roll, which he's a really good pick and roll type of player. Reminds me a lot of maybe a Jakob Poeltl type player, which a lot of people wanted to see. A lot of people that wanted to see Jakob and Wemby together. Now's the time and the opportunity to see it if you're able to draft Donovan Klingan.
All right, there you have it. Thank you for that comment, Tom. Yeah, go check out last week's Friday's episode of Locked On Spurs, a deeper dive into the Spurs and possibly picking the big man. That kid, he's huge. He's a big boy and ready-made body already. A ready-made body. Like, you don't have to worry about physical development. And I think there's something to be said about drafting a player who spent 4 years in college. I think
don't be
awesome.
surprised. Don't be surprised, honestly, if he goes number 1 to Atlanta. I mean, don't be surprised if that happens.
Yeah.
I mean, don't be shocked.
Yeah, I definitely see it. Yeah, definitely see it. I mean, I think that would be. I think if it's not Sar or Ricochet, I think anybody else outside of those two be what Klingan went 1. What? Oh, what?
Yeah.
My God. Or, I mean, anybody else? I think because everybody's expecting Sar, Ricochet, or in that kind of pattern, or Ricochet Star. Don't matter. Those two guys going 1 or 2, or vice versa. But we'll see.
Yeah.
Rudy, we need to know about Sweep the League. What is cooking in your neck of the woods?
Yeah, so Sweep the League. I kind of mentioned it a little bit there, but you're the most popular guy on YouTube and social media, Jeff. So I'd love to announce it here that we're actually going to be doing NBA draft talk, and we're going to be covering the first round of the NBA draft live for everybody. So you can join our stream. We'll see if we can get Jeff on that show as well during the live NBA draft, and he can talk to us about the Spurs picks at 4 and 8 if they keep them.
For sure.
But not only that, we've got NFL talk. Also, a huge shout out this past weekend. We found out that one of our own, Derek Gervin, who's a part of Sweep the League, is getting inducted this October into the UTSA Hall of Fame. So it's been something that's been in the works for a while. I've put my 2 cents in there with UTSA. So seeing that it's finally happened for Derek, congratulations to Derek. We're extremely excited for you. But yeah, Sweep the League comes here every single day, Monday through Friday. Like I said, majority of the time it's in the evening, about 9 o'clock or so. Sometimes we do an afternoon show, but you just got to go to our YouTube page, subscribe, hit the notification button so you never miss out on an episode.
That's it. Yeah. Rudy's show is great. It's awesome. I like that he covers the early evening shift for sports radio in San Antonio. So if you're just chilling at your house, outside in your backyard, you go to YouTube, put on Sweep the League, enjoy it while you're having a nice beer, a nice meal, and it's fun. They are fun. By the way, I heard that you stomp all over Gio when it comes to sports take. Like you just wreck them, right?
I do my best not to, but the inner dark side of Rudy Campos comes out with Gio, and I just gotta keep him in his place, man, because he does that to me. He always does that to me, so I got to make sure that he doesn't overstep his boundaries over there.
All right, keep him in check, Rudy. Keep him in check. Hey, we'll be back tomorrow covering more Spurs discussions as we get closer every single day to that draft. Of course, anything that happens in the offseason, but we definitely want to hear from you. Follow us on the YouTube page, Locked On Spurs, Kansas 5 Plus app, iTunes, Spotify, and check out Locked On Sports Today, 24/7 streaming sports channel only on YouTube, brought to you by the Locked On Network. Locked On Sports Today. Go check it out and subscribe. So for Rudy Campos, I am Jeff Garcia. We're going to put a lock on this episode of Locked On Spurs.